What's going on? Welcome back to Flash Breaks. My name is Tom, and today we are going over the 5 biggest mistakes Pokemon collectors make. Over the past couple weeks, I've gotten a ton of messages from people saying that they are just coming back into the hobby and they don't know what to invest in or what they should start collecting. And with Pokemon prices so inflated right now, even though we're on a little bit of a dip, Pokemon cards are still super expensive. Being smart with your money is even more important. So in this video, we are going to go over some of the most common mistakes that I see collectors make and going over some of the best solutions for each of those mistakes. But before we get too far into today's video, I am giving one lucky subscriber this gold card from Vivid Voltage. All you have to do is like this video, make sure you're subscribed with notifications on, and then answer this question. What is your biggest chase card? For me, it is this 2002 McDonald's promo Japanese Squirtle. So random. But I love it. I love the artwork. I think it's just such a cool card, and I need it for my collection. I will own this card in a PSA 10 one day. Mark my words. So let me know your Grail card in the comments down below, and if I reply to you with this handshake emoji, that means I am sending this gold card your way for the free. The first mistake we're going to go over today is chasing the hype. I see so many collectors fall victim to hype cards and hype trains, and it just breaks my heart to see it every single time. If you see a ton of people talking about one specific card all across online, then it's probably a bad time to buy it. There's always exceptions to the rule, but that's a good rule of thumb. This usually happens when a new set drops. Every card is booming, the chase card is the best card anyone has ever seen, the artwork is unlike anything else. This new set is the new Evolving Skies. I mean, just look at the Chunky Chew from Vivid Voltage. When that set first released, that card was $1,300 in a PSA 10. And now, 5 years later, that card is worth $285 in a PSA 10. That's over $1,000 drop in just 5 years. If you bought that card right at the beginning of the hype train for $1,300, you would have lost $1,000, which is not fun. A lot of big trading card games follow a pretty consistent cycle. And I can't believe I'm about to say this, but it's really similar to the stock market. Specifically with Pokemon, this cycle is driven by really big catalyst events like Pokemon Go releasing, or Logan Paul opening up a bunch of base set, or coming out with $1 million Charizard around his neck, or more recently with the new TCG Pocket release. These were really big catalyst events that brought a ton of new people back into the trading card game. Whether it was people that were nostalgic about the past, or new people that are just interested in collecting cards, or potentially people that just saw Pokemon as a good investment. But the reason why I say it's really similar to a stock market is because most of these Pokemon cycles, or these Pokemon booms and busts, follow this Wall Street cheat sheet. And it goes over the psychology of a market cycle. So it's pretty obvious looking at this, there is peak times to buy, and then there's definitely bad times to buy. You don't want to buy Pokemon cards when they're at the peak of their hype. The best time to buy is typically when things are just trading sideways for a while. The problem is people get sucked into the hype and they buy a card when it's increasing in value because they think it's going to always keep increasing. But typically that's never the case. Cards boom in the hype train and then they fall off a cliff. After they fell off a cliff, then they slowly grind up in value. So if you're interested in getting some of these Grail cards that are super expensive, don't fall into the hype. Give it some time, 6 months, a year and a half, and a lot of these prices will come back down to earth. This makes collecting some of those more expensive cards a lot more obtainable to the average investor or collector. By following this strategy, you're going to save a ton of money and you're going to be able to build your collection so much faster. Trust me, you don't want to be the last person holding the bag. Never a fun time. The second biggest mistake that I see people making all the time is ignoring card condition. I see a lot of new collectors coming back into the hobby and they are paying full market price for LP or moderately played cards, when you really don't have to. Condition matters, especially if you're trying to submit a card into a grading company. When I was first buying Pokemon cards with my allowance of running into Toys R Us and buying packs right off the shelf, opening them or trading them with my friends, condition really didn't matter. But now condition really matters in collecting, and people are paying premiums for better conditioned cards. So here are some commonly used terms when people are talking about card condition. We have excellent, which is typically like a pristine card. There is no imperfections. Typically, the most common ones are near mint, light play, moderately played, and damaged. And cards in each of those conditions can vary in price. Here is TCG Player's Guide to Card Condition. I'll give you a little tidbit about each of them, but feel free to look it up on your own. Near mint is a card with minimal play or wear on it. Typically, there's 3 or less imperfections on the card, whether that's a scratch or a ding on the side or whitening. Lightly played shows signs of handling or play, but doesn't display a ton of imperfections. So about 6 or less imperfections. Moderately played is very similar to light play, except now it's in a little bit worse condition with 12 points of imperfection. Heavily played and damage are of course the worst condition possible. Heavily played with 24 points of imperfections, and damaged is just... So if you're ever buying a card from a card shop, online, or in person at a trade show, make sure to look at a card's condition, because you can save a lot of money by looking at some of the last sales for cards in that condition. Especially if it's in light played condition, you can get a ton of cards for your binder for a lot cheaper than a near mint copy. Mistake number 3 I see collectors making is trying to collect everything. This is one of the biggest mistakes that I see, and it's pretty common. I see this a ton of people coming into my stream and asking, yo, there's just so many new sets, there's new cards dropping, there's illustration rares, there's special illustration rares, there's secret rares, there's Japanese, there's English, there's Korean, there's Chinese, where do I start? It can be really overwhelming coming back into this hobby. Attempting to keep up with every single card, variation, or new rarity is just going to drive you absolutely insane. Not to mention it's going to drive your wallet absolutely insane. So what I recommend is try to build something that's meaningful to you. For me, I think some of the most satisfying parts about collecting is the chase of it all. Whether it's a specific Pokemon, a specific set, or like a specific era, or even a particular art style. What I recommend is trying to chunk it out. When you narrow down your goal to something that's actually achievable, collecting gets super exciting. It's like a video game, and each step, you move up your progress bar just a little bit. Mistake number 4 is chasing pulls instead of just buying singles. And I will be the first person to admit I have fallen victim to this countless times. Opening packs is super fun, but that's exactly how you should think about it. Opening packs is for entertainment. You should never open packs with hopes of getting a specific chase card, because every time you open that pack and you don't get that chase card, you are going to feel so disappointed. The odds are stacked against you, especially in some of these modern sets where some of these gold cards, you have to rip 1,200 packs just to get a gold card. I don't know about you, but I'm not gonna spend $7,000 to pull a $600 card. The math isn't mathing. So the way that I like to treat opening packs is a little treat for myself, or it's a fun thing to do with friends. So if you have a specific card in mind, I highly recommend just paying for that card straight out. Opening packs should be treated as entertainment and not a investing or collecting strategy. So if I were giving someone advice about how to grow their collection, I would say about 80% of your budget or more should go to buying specific cards that you really like and that's going to be something meaningful to you. And the remaining 10 to 20% you could use however you want. And if you want to talk with a lot of people that are also interested in Pokemon, please join my Discord. I just launched it, and it's also a great place to meet other like-minded collectors, do trades, and a ton of other fun things. Mistake number 5 is investing in the hobby without loving it. This one's huge, and I don't think a lot of people talk about this a lot. If you're only into Pokemon for the money and you don't like the art or the TCG or the Pokemon themselves, you're not going to last long. There are so many people going from Pokemon to One Piece to Magic the Gathering just because it's the new hype thing. Like I said, the stock market, trading cards, a lot of them go through cycles. So many people will just jump from one shiny object to the next, especially when the market is down. A long haul, you're probably gonna get burned. Prices for individual cards and sealed product go up and down. So if you don't absolutely love that card or that specific set that you own, you're gonna start sweating pretty heavily when the market is down. Whereas if you're here for the long haul, I'm talking years, not months, you aren't going to sweat those times because you actually like what you're doing and you like your collection and you like Pokemon in general. So there's no reason to hop over to another thing. Without a genuine connection to your collection, every market move is going to feel like life or death. Collecting Pokemon is not day trading, it's collecting. And a lot of people think of it as an investment. But I'll go on record of saying this, no one should be selling Pokemon cards for double the price. It's a hobby that I really enjoy, and I know a lot of people out there do too. So hopefully you can use this as like a guide to help navigate you through some of the tougher times in a rough Pokemon market. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video, make sure to give it a big thumbs up and then check out this video. Oh my gosh, YouTube thinks you're gonna like it. I think you're gonna like it too. And if you don't, write me a strongly worded letter and I'll ignore it. Bye.